Well, Tom, here we are.
Here we are.
In the bowels of Hogwarts.
This is the potions classroom, to be precise. It's very exciting to be here. Welcome.
Tom, thank you. And tell me about the first time you ever walked on this set. What did it feel like?
Yeah, I mean, this one particularly, this was on the first film we walked into the potions classroom, and it was one of my favourite ones immediately, because it's one of the few sets, actually it's one of the only sets here today that has a real Slytherin vibe, shall we say. It hasn't got the sort of, the happy time Gryffindor thing going on. So this is definitely one of the more creepy sets. I remember coming on here as an 11-year-old and just being fascinated with all these jars and vials we have around us of potions and various dragon legs and all sorts of bits and pieces. So yeah, as you can imagine, I was fascinated as a young kid.
And it was, of course, like a working scientific environment, but it was also a haven for a couple of notorious professors, wasn't it?
Oh, very much so, yes. I mean, to have Alan Rickman here as one of our first teachers, he was great because he was so scary in the nicest way possible, but very scary as Snape. And yet he always knew how to just to put a touch of comic relief in there to make sure we didn't feel too terrified. And obviously we had Jim Broadbent in the later years as Slughorn, who was nothing but an absolute joy and a charm to work with and watch.
Well, one of the potions I remember best is the Polyjuice potion. It was a very complicated one.
It was.
Just remind us how that worked.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up because I have no recollection whatsoever, and I'm glad you put me on the spot like that just to highlight it. Please remind me that I forget.
It changed people in some way, didn't it?
Oh yes.
Yeah, but a human couldn't become an animal.
I recall the effects. It was making it that I believe Draco was pretty poor at. Tom even worse, I think.
Well, now, apart from learning your craft as an actor here, what did you pick up from the myriad craftsmen and women who just put these places together, these sets together?
Sure. I mean, hopefully something. And certainly an appreciation. I've been lucky enough to work on a few film sets and a few other projects since Potter and before Potter, and no one will go to the lengths that these people have gone to create this world. I mean, they've gone well and truly beyond and above what is necessary, I think. A lot of sets don't have roofs, and they don't have solid walls because they can take them out and stuff, and you get a sense that it's not very immersive, whereas this, once you're in here, you really feel like you're in a potions classroom, which is very unique and very helpful for an 11-year-old actor. And it's really nice to work with people that pour their heart and soul into it, even when it's something that they know is not going to make it on camera and will never be seen by the light of day. They'll still sit there for 10 hours and draw something that's never going to be... Even these books, I was pointing out, this potion-making book, that isn't filled with yellow pages or random... Someone sat there and written a fictitious book about potion making. It's incredible. So yeah, those are kind of the lengths that we witnessed and thought, wow, it's incredible to be on something like this. And now wonderful that Warners have opened the gates to let other people see it as well.
Well, you've mentioned the books, and of course we've got the jars behind us, and I believe that every one of these jars is actually hand-labelled as well.
Oh yeah, no joke. Yeah, I spent a good, first month of my life here just going through all these vials to make sure what was in there. And they're not just, toad's legs, they're all given incredibly, bizarre names and beautifully magical names, and they've really given it some thought. It's something that has always been evident throughout all the Harry Potter films, and as the years have gone on, I think people have only been more and more keen to make it even more rich and more fascinating.
What do you think visitors to this experience will really take away with them, Tom?
A huge sense of how much passion and work has really gone into these projects. I've been saying that actors and sometimes directors, producers can hog a lot of the credit. Certainly the actors, we get a lot of glory for not doing that much work. So this is great that Warner's actually have opened the doors, and it's going to give fans a real sense of how much has gone into the back end of this, which is probably a lot more than what's gone into the front. This room, I dread to think how many man hours it would have taken to create this. So a real sense that people were working on something they were very passionate about, and I can't wait to see their faces, to be honest with you. I'm sure they're going to be fascinated.
It's bound to be a sellout tour.
Yeah.
Tom, great to see you again.
Likewise.
Thank you very much
Thanks
indeed.
for your questions.
Okay.